So when you start to think pirouettes, base the tempo of the actual pirouette on the tempo of the collected canter. Tick, 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 tick. Start to add some haunches in, start to spiral in. But don't lose the canter tempo. But don't let the canter change. All right, it already changed. Get out, make it bigger, but stay haunches in. So the change there, like I wouldn't go so small, so fast all at once. Think about the dynamic of the canter, right? If I'm cantering, like I said, the canter is the canter. The tempo shouldn't slow down for a pirouette, right? The rhythm sequence does start to get questionable, which is normal, right, for the canter pirouette. They get a little 4-beaty, tour to 4-beat canter. There's an acceptance that we have for that because it's not a physical possibility to keep a 3-beat canter in a pirouette. But we train as close to the 3-beat as we can. We don't want an obvious break. But the tempo of the canter is the canter, right? So if that starts to slow down, what's happening in the horse's body? A little behind the leg, yeah. What else? Like that pirouette's all about him taking weight behind, right? It's the utmost of collection in the canter. The same that we'd say like piaffe is the utmost collection in the trot, or trot-like. So the pirouette is about putting them on the hind legs, croup low. That's the most collected we really ever make the canter, right? So if I have a tempo that goes tick, 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 and I start to collect them for the pirouette, and he starts going a little slower, tick, 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 tick. What is his body doing? Is it rocking back and taking weight if it slows down? What I look at is I think they start to crouch. They get lower to the ground. And then, like you just said, he starts to get a little off the bridle, right? You notice his neck starts to kind of undulate. So the hind leg stops taking on or stops doing the majority or the burden of the work. The body gets kind of belly low to the ground, squatting. The neck sometimes starts to move to actually pull the canter. So what you want to really say to him is when I go into these pirouettes, you don't get to compensate. You don't get to lower yourself to the ground like a cat to get this pirouette done. You need to sit down here and rock back onto your hind legs. And you have to keep cantering. So your hind legs do the work and not your forehand or your body. The pirouettes have to have the appearance of a real canter, right? Even though we agree that the diagonal sequence does break. So for the appearance of a real canter, if I keep the canter tempo the same when I go in, I'm going to be way more prone to keeping the appearance of a real 3-beat canter, right? If I let the tempo slow down, right, where the clapping, this starts to get slower and slower, I'm running the risk that the rhythm sequence of the canter is really going to break. If I keep the canter tempo, tick, 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 and I don't let it change, I'm way closer to that appearance of a 3-beat canter rhythm.